My name is Abdullah Ali. I work here as a tuna college in Berkeley, California. Prior to coming to Berkeley, I worked for 5 years as a full-time chaplain at the State Correctional Institution in Chester, Pennsylvania. Islam is a word, an Arabic word, which means submission. And the religion itself is a religion which was established in the 7th century, although as Muslims, which is the name we give for the people who practice Islam, we see Islam as being something which actually goes back to the earliest of what we call the prophets and messengers, that we believe that all of the messengers were Muslim, and that was meaning people who submitted their souls to God. So Jesus, Moses, David, among all of the prophets and messengers of God. So it's a religion established in the 7th century by the Prophet Muhammad, who is considered to be the final prophet sent to humanity. Among the core beliefs of Islam are that God is only one, first and foremost, and God is the only one worthy of worship. Now, being that we believe in God, should not be understood or misunderstood as meaning that we necessarily see God in the same fashion that perhaps Christians may see God, in the sense that God for us does not have a son. God is not part of a Trinity. Rather, Jesus is simply God's miracle. He's God's messenger to humanity. We believe in the virgin birth, but we also believe that Jesus is the Messiah, that Jesus will return at the end of time. So like Christians, we do believe in that as well, but we just don't believe that Jesus is God incarnate, nor that he's the Son of God. We believe that God will judge us on one day after we leave this world, and will reward us for what we do of good, and we perhaps will punish those of us for the bad that we do if he does not forgive us. We believe in a forgiving God. His most outstanding name is Ar-Rahman, or the All-Merciful One, that the Quran begins with the name of God, the All-Merciful, All-Compassionate. The very first prophetic tradition, and at one particular time in Islamic history, that people would learn is a tradition which says that the All-Merciful will show mercy to those who show mercy to others. So mercy is extremely important in Islamic tradition, and it is the thing. God says his mercy will conquer his wrath, and that is what we believe as Muslims about God. As relates to the Muslim prayer, there actually is more than one type of prayer, naturally. Now we have what we can call our formal canonical prayer, which is the 5 daily prayers, which is a ritual. It is performed in the Arabic language, and there are different movements involved. The raising of the hands at the beginning as a sign of submission to God, and there's bowing, there's prostrating. So there's a beginning, there's an end to it. This is our formal ritual prayer. But there's also this regular supplication, which all people naturally can do when we speak in our own languages. If we don't understand Arabic, we speak from the heart in our own languages. The prayers themselves are considered to be, or the formal prayer we call salah, are considered to be compulsory upon every Muslim to pray every single day, at different times of the day. They're performed, and a person would be considered to be sinful if they did not perform those prayers. But at any other time, at any given time of the day, a person is allowed to pray and to speak directly to God. The Quran is the Muslim holy book. It was revealed to Muhammad, the son of Abdullah, who was he's the Muslim prophet who from Arabia in the 7th century, revealed to him by God, at least what we believe as Muslims. It constitutes the very final revelation to humanity in the sense that direct correspondence between the creator and the creation stopped with this particular book. It is a book which fundamentally means the recitation or the reading, being that it was recited to the prophet, who himself was illiterate, and he conveyed it to his companions is a book which speaks largely about ethical teachings, encouraging things like feeding the poor, taking care of the orphan, protecting women and their rights. But it also, of course, has the other aspects to it which are more controversial today, related to the right to defend oneself, or to fight, what we say, or to wage war against one's enemies. But that itself is a very small part of the book. The Quran is a book which acknowledges the previous revelations, the Psalms, the Torah of Moses, the Psalms of David, the Injil, or Gospel of Jesus Christ, and even speaks that Abraham had a book, had a collection of scripture as well, and laws, and it confirms all of the biblical prophets. And so this is the main source of all of the Islamic teachings, the Quran. When it comes to the Islamic narrative, or the human narrative from the Islamic perspective, that we can see the human being as a creature created by God who is placed at a distance from the Creator, expelled from his home, which originally was paradise. So in Islam, paradise is the home of the human being, and that we've been placed here for redemption. And the way that we redeem ourselves is through being good stewards of this realm. And as we are better stewards of this realm, and we are people who try our best to obey God, then that brings us back into closeness with God. It brings us back into closeness with our true home. And it also improves the home that we were returning to, that life, none of us stays here on this earth. And this is one of the fundamental aspects of the Islamic teaching. So we believe in God, we believe in angels, we believe in messengers and books revealed to those angels. So in one sense, disobedience to God is something that sort of creates this distance between the human being and the Creator. And so it's a type of warfare, an act of warfare against God. And God himself has tried to form a treaty with us. And so when you form a treaty, typically each party sends an emissary. So the angels are emissaries of God, and the messengers, the prophets themselves, are the emissaries of the human being. And so there's this negotiation between them. So they represent us. And so they teach us God's terms and through the scriptures. And so we apply those terms, or we act upon those terms, and through doing so, God will bring us back into the realm from which we had come, hopefully in a better state. And that is fundamentally what I would call the narrative of Islam about the human being.